Hello and welcome to the course of Material Science and Manufacturing. In this course, we will be teaching heat treatment. So, in the last lecture, we have seen about phase diagram. Now, in this lecture, we are interested in heat treatment. So, in this lecture, this is the 10th lecture of the course Material Science Manufacturing Process, that is MSMP. And in this lecture, this is the first lecture of heat treatment, and it is module 2. So let's start. In this lecture, we will introspect about heat treatment. That means what is heat treatment, what are the classification of the heat treatment. We will see the application of the heat treatment, and we will understand about the different type of heat treatment. And in detail, we will see the annealing process. Annealing, it is a heat treatment process that we will discuss in detail in this lecture. Now, what is heat treatment? So, it is a combination of heat treatment is a process which is combination of heating and cooling operation timed and applied to a metal or alloy in solid state in a way that will produce desired properties. That means heat treatment is nothing. What is heat treatment? Heat treatment is a nothing. It is a process of changing the mechanical properties of a material by what? By heating. So, in terms of heating, if we heat a material, then its microstructure or its crystal structure is changed, and that crystal change in crystal structure that change in crystal structure in case of that change in crystal structure, when it is our desired, it creates our desired property, then it is called heat treatment. Now, in the heat treatment, we have in the last lecture we have seen about iron carbon diagram. In that, we have seen that in various temperature, the properties and the carbon composition and the carbon solubility of the iron is different. So that is the key, that we can heat treat the material so that we can achieve better properties, or so that we can achieve our desired property. That is what heat treatment is. And another thing is there, that is in in iron carbon diagram, at that time I have told about you about martensite. That martensite is a hard material, that is our desired product, but that martensite cannot be formed very easily. To form martensite, heat treatment is essential. Why heat treatment is essential? Not only heat treatment is a process, okay? It is a process of heating and cooling. So heating is also controlled in a controlled manner, and cooling, that is also in a controlled manner. So when the cooling is done as fast cooling, by quenching the material into liquid, that can be water, that can be oil, that can be any other thing, or the cooling is done in air. This is important. When it is quenched in water or oil, at that time what happens? At that time fast cooling occurs, and if the fast cooling occurs at that time, very due to very fast cooling, the austenite does not form, but martensite formed, and that martensite stays in the crystal structure, and due to that martensite, the material will have greater hardness. So that is the heat treatment. That's why the heat treatment is so important. Any property of a material come from its microstructure or its crystal structure. And the change in the crystal structure or microstructure can be done by using heat treatment. So it is a process. So the definition will be, it is a combination of heating and cooling operation timed and applied to a metal or alloy in the solid state in a way that produce our desired property. This is the definition. To more elaborately, we can say the process is carried out by heating. How the process is carried out? Process is carried out by heating the metal to a certain temperature, followed by controlled cooling. We are coming as per the controlled cooling condition. There are various names that is given to the heat treatment, and for those various names, the properties will be different in case of heat treatment. So heat treatment, this process of heating and controlled cooling, alter the physical and mechanical properties of material without changing its shape. So final shape will be same, but internal structure will be changed, so that mechanical and physical property of the material will be changed. So it is sometimes it is observed in some cases, in some manufacturing process, heat treatment is observed by its own, means as the process occur, heat treatment is there. In case of, say, in case of welding, what happened, there is a application of heat is involved. So due to that application of heat, the crystal structure of the weld bead, it changed. And that's why the welded joint or welded part is stronger than your base material. Any joint you can pick, if the joint is welded joint, that welded joint means the welded part, that part where the welding is done, that part will have the maximum strength. That welding position will have greater strength than the other part of that body. So that this is due to heat treatment. And in the case of welding, the heat treatment is not done by intention, but it happens by its own. So that is what it is done by inherently due to manufacturing process, either heat or cool the material, such as welding, or in case of forming also. In case of forming also, we will see, when we will study about forming, we will see it. So this is the heat treatment. Now what are the function of heat treatment? The main function of heat treatment to improve its property. So improve its property means, in a specific manner, if we want to say, it improves the machining and formability. It restores ductility. So main objective is to improve machining and formability, to restore ductility, to recover grain size. That means, to recover grain size means porous grains are breaked and form finer grain, that would increase the hardness of the material. So that is what heat treatments do. And heat treatment is done for one of the following objective. First is hardening, softening, or property modification. That means by heat treatment, any material can made hard. Any hard material can made soft. That means any hard material can be made ductile, or other property modification can be done using heat treatment. Now there are various type of heat treatment on the basis of the cooling rate, mainly on the basis of the cooling rate. That means how the cooling is done. The classifications are annealing, normalizing, hardening, ostempering, mud tempering, tempering, surface or case hardening. So these are the basic type of the heat treatment process. We will see them one by one. So let's start with annealing. Annealing, what is annealing? It is the one of the most important heat treatment process. In annealing, the medium carbon steel, see, medium carbon steel responses most in annealing. So medium carbon steel responses most in case of annealing. So what is annealing? In annealing, steel is heated completely to recrystallization temperature. Remember, in the iron carbon diagram, I have discussed about recrystallization temperature. At recrystallization temperature, what happened? At recrystallization temperature, the iron is changes its crystal structure. So in recrystallization temperature, what happened? The alpha iron become delta iron, or the crystal structure, BCC crystal structure, changes to FCC crystal structure. And this, after reaching this this recrystallization temperature, the steel is kept at that temperature, so that gamma austenite uh, formed in the material. So At that temperature it is held for 30 to 60 minutes so that uniform austenization can be done, and which is followed by cooling to the room temperature in the furnace itself. So when the cooling is done in the furnace, then the process is known as annealing. So you will see the difference when we will see the normalizing or next hardening this type of process, then we can see the differences. So what is the process? The process is heating the steel above recrystallization temperature, keeping it at that temperature for 30 to 60 minutes. After that, left it for cooling in the furnace itself. So by this process, this is the process of annealing, and in this process the average cooling time is 9 hours. So this is a slow cooling process. By slow cooling, what we can achieve, or what are the consequences of the our annealing process? The consequences of the annealing process is first recrystallization, first recovery, secondly recrystallization, and third grain growth. Grain growth. So in case of recovery, what is happening? Residual stress. Those residual stress, can be generated in case of by machining or by forming. Those residual stress can be removed in by using this process, by using this process. Next, ductility will be restored. What is ductility? Ductility means the by cold rolling the material will be by, or cold forming the material become hard. That means the ductility will not be there, but by recovery, by annealing process, ductility can be restored. Next, as but ductility is restored and residual stress is removed, formability, that means the ability to be formed, can be increased. Next, recrystallization. By recrystallization, new stress-free equiax fine grain structure from a porous columnar grains can be produced, and uniform properties due to this recrystallization, uniform properties can be seen in the inside the material. Next, what is happening? Grain growth. When we left it for a slow cooling process, then what will happen? The grain will be bigger, and this grain growth will convert the fine grain to coarse grain structure. That means the strength and hardness will increase, and the machinability of the material will increase. These are the consequences. Next, what are the type of the annealing? First, there is full annealing. The purpose of full annealing, the main purpose is to soften the material, to refine the grain structure. So grain refinement is the main objective of full annealing, to relieve to relieve the stress, to remove the trapped gas in the material. Why there is a trapped gas? Because in case of casting, gas can be entrapped inside the material. That entrapped gas can be removed by using full annealing process. So after casting, the full annealing is very necessary process. The process consists of heating the steel 30 to 50 degrees Celsius above the upper critical temperature, and uh, and uh, and it is held to that temperature for some time, then it brought back to room temperature by slow cooling in the furnace. So this is the full annealing process, or it is the general annealing process. Now there is another annealing process, that is called process annealing, or it is also called low temperature annealing or subcritical annealing. This process, why it is used? It is used for relieving the internal stress that sets up in the metal, for increasing machinability in the steel. In this process, what is done? Steel is heated to a temperature below or close to its lower critical temperature. That means the lower critical temperature means 550 to 650 degrees Celsius, and held at that temperature, and then it is cooled slowly. So in case of process annealing, this annealing is done before it is fed into rolling tube or anything, any before any process, when the annealing is done, or after any process, before in between two successive steps of the manufacturing, when the annealing is done, then it is called process annealing. Next, sulfurized annealing or spherodizing. This is usually applied to high carbon tool steel. It is applied to high carbon steel which are difficult to machine. So high carbon tool steel is a hard material and it is difficult to machine. This operation consists of heating the steel to a temperature slightly above its lower critical temperature and held at that temperature for some time, then cooled slowly to 600 degrees Celsius. And this process by spherodizing, the machinability of high carbon steel can be increased, but it lowers the hardness and tensile strength of the high carbon tool steel. So in this process, what happened in this process, the machinability of the high carbon tool steel is increased. Next, diffusion annealing or homogenization. So in case of diffusion annealing or homogenization, the process is consist of mainly used for ingot and large casting. After the diffusion annealing, the casting undergoes full annealing to improve the properties or to refine the grain structure. This diffusion or homogenization process consists of heating the steel to a high temperature of 1100 degrees Celsius to 1200 degrees Celsius, and it is held at that temperature for 8 to 20 hours. Then it is cooled to 800 to 850 degrees Celsius inside the furnace for a period of 6 to 8 hours, and further it is cooled to room temperature. In this process, what is happening? In this process, complete diffusion of the object can be done. By complete diffusion means the material will be completely austenized first, then it is come to the room temperature. That means it will change its microstructure again and come to the ground state, and after that the properties of the material is improved. This is the process of annealing. And in these processes, the mostly used process is full annealing and process annealing. So in annealing, what is most important in annealing? The cooling is done inside the furnace itself, but in other heat treatment process, as we will see in the next lecture, we can see that the cooling rate is achieved by various technique. That means in some place we can see that the material will be cooled in air, in open air. In some place we can see that material will be cooled by quenching it into water. In some place we can see the material will be cooled by quenching it into brine solution. And in some place we can see the cooling rate can be achieved, fast cooling rate can be achieved by immersing or quenching the material into our into some oil. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening, and if you have any problem, feel free to ask me, and we will discuss this topic in the live class also. Thank you.